And I know we've been, I think, obsessed with all things rugby, all things World Cup for the last period of time. You can't be fully obsessed in it, so you have your day job. How are you getting on at the start of this season at Munster?
We've had a very good pre-season. It was the first time that the whole academy trained with us during the pre-season. Obviously, we were low on numbers, but it was brilliant to get to know the academy lads a lot better. Fantastic group of guys, and coaching them day in and day out. We had a good mix in the warm-up games. We literally played two sides in every game, mixing them up, and we made sure that certain guys, Craig Casey, that he played with, JJ on his outside, and Arno and Jack on his inside. Then into the league, had a pretty good start at Thomond Park against the Dragons in pretty difficult conditions. Went across to South Africa. Incredible travel actually from Limerick to Dublin to Doha to Johannesburg and then to Port Elizabeth. Pretty hot conditions at 3 o'clock in a Saturday afternoon in Port Elizabeth, but managed to get the 5 points away from home, and then came up against a really good Cheetah side on the weekend. Going up onto altitude is pretty tough. Myself being a Bulls man now, our teams struggle to adapt to that, and what they've done over the last 6 weeks, they beat Western Province. They were down 33-12 and came back to beat them, beat the Sharks in the semi-final, beat the Lions in the final, put 48 on Glasgow, put 60 on Ulster, and in that second half they were just too good for us. So obviously we'd have loved to won that game, but pretty happy with the 10 points that we currently have.
If we haven't heard a huge amount from you, and it's good you keep your cards close to your chest. How would you identify your philosophy of the game?
I believe an all-round pressure game, especially in the northern hemisphere. You've got to have some attacking capability. You've got to build your game on a solid defence. Your kicking game interlinks everything, and then your contact skills, your set piece, your scrum, your maul, your tackle area, it's all big parts of the game. You can't play the same game in September that you're going to play in January, so you have to have the ability to adapt, and you've got to have the ability to adapt not only to conditions, to referees, to your opposition, and to what you need out of the game. A round 6 European fixture against the Exeter Chiefs is a lot different when you only need a win than an away game against the Kings in Port Elizabeth, where you might look for 4 tries. So the ability to adapt, but certainly an all-round pressure game.
Have you been surprised by the intensity of the different competitions? Because they do change quite dramatically.
Yeah. I only heard of Europe. Saw the past teams of Munster competing in Europe in the earlier days, and I remember, when Toulon were pretty formidable here about 5 or 6 years ago, watching Saracens, but, being part of it. I remember my first game was against the Leicester Tigers at Thomond Park, and it was an incredible experience, and we managed to beat them 33-10 on that day. We played pretty well, and then the next weekend going to the Tigers, which is a massive fixture traditionally, and experiencing that and getting away with a win there. That was kind of my first taste of European rugby. The quarter-final against Toulon at Thomond Park was something else. I've been fortunate enough to be part of some pretty special Bulls teams that won Super Rugby, beating the Chiefs 61-17 in 2009 at Loftus, beating the Stormers in Soweto in 2010. But Thomond Park on a European evening is something else. Even the 2 semi-finals that we've lost, the intensity, the quality of players, the quality of the competition, the way that it's structured with the 5 pools, you've literally got to fight for every single inch for 80 minutes across 6 rounds. And the last season, had such a tough pool. The Chiefs are a team that I respect so much, and we came away with the draw there and had to beat them at Thomond Park, and we ended 5th, although we won our pool, and had to go away against Scocker's side in Edinburgh, which was a tremendous battle, and got away with the win there. And come up against the eventual champions, Saris, that have got world-class players all around the pitch, and an incredible privilege to be part of European rugby.
So it has been semi-finals for the last couple of years, which the supporters have a higher expectation. I know you have a higher expectation. What is the gap that has to be closed for Munster to be at the very top table?
Oh, look, I believe that we are not far off, but that doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get to a semi-final again. Some incredible clubs in Europe haven't even come out of their pool. For us, it's about improving our game. We had a real look at our game, and there's certain elements of it that needs to be better in the semi-final to win. Currently, we were good enough to get to semi-finals. We've got to improve our game now to get past semi-finals. Improve the player, improve the group. Get out on top in pressure situations. Like the start in Racing 2 years ago, they were just too good for us in the first 20 minutes. We came back from 27-5 down to 27-22, but the challenge is to get 27-5 up. So that means improving our fitness, improving our skill level, improving our all-round game, and like I said, an all-round pressure game, performing in the big games.
Where do you think you are on that journey of getting Munster to the place where you'd like them to be? You have signed up for another 2 years, so you obviously believe it's on the right trajectory.
Yeah, I believe in the playing group so much, and the management staff have been tremendous, and I believe in the club, and I believe in the values that Munster stand for. I believe in the spirit of rugby, and that's certainly alive in Munster. And currently we are very good at home, and in the big games we need to improve away from home, and that's the challenge of rugby. You need to get better, and I certainly believe that we can get better, and we will get better. To get that, it's an incredible amount of hard work, and that's what this club is built upon, is work ethic of everybody involved. And then in the games when it really gets tough, it's what Munster is about, and we've got to dig even deeper, and believe that we're going to come out on the other side, and that's certainly something I believe we'll do.